Turn off their alarms on their computers, please?
Yep, that was me.
Thanks, dude.
Shit.
Excellent. Off their alarm. All right. Excellent. Well, welcome to wherever you are joining us in the world. My name is Richard Kenyon. I'm the artistic director for Soul and Bliss Theatre, and we've been doing these Zoom reads since the pandemic started in March, and this is our 15th or 16th reading. So we're really excited to bring to you tonight a play that is rarely performed, but after you see our performance, we think it'll really inspire you to watch this play and to read it again as we explore it. Now, for those of you that are new to King John, we have a brief little plot summary on what you're about to see. King John refuses the demands of Chatillon, an ambassador from King Philip of France, to yield the English crown to young Arthur, the Duke of Bretagne. John then intervenes in a dispute between Robert and Philip Falconbridge over their inheritance, and it emerges that Philip is the bastard son of King Richard the Lionheart. Philip gives up his share of his inheritance in return for service to John, who knights him, and the English then prepare for France. So it's your classic England versus France war story. The French king and his ally Austria are meeting to besiege Angers when they receive news of John's arrival. The two sides parley and then prepare to fight. Hubert of Angers refuses to open his gates to either side until one is victor. But the matter is not resolved when both sides claim victory after a battle. And the bastard, Philip, suggests that the two sides unite to attack Angers, but Hubert forestalls this by proposing a marriage between John's niece Blanche and Louis the Dauphin. The parties agree, and they prepare for the wedding. The bastard, angry at the way events have turned out, reflects on the madness of it all. And to end our first half, Arthur's mother, Constance, Arthur is the young king who's about to, the rightful heir to the throne. His mother, Constance, angrily rejects the new alliance. And Cardinal Pandulph arrives from Rome and threatens King Philip with excommunication if he allies himself with John, who is considered now a heretic because of his opposition to the church in England. So Philip, after some mind searching, complies, and the battle recommences. The French are defeated, the bastard kills Austria, and Arthur, young Arthur, is taken prisoner, to Constance's great distress. John orders Hubert to kill Arthur, but Hubert is dissuaded by Arthur's heartfelt pleas. Meanwhile, Pandulph persuades the Dauphin to continue the fight in England, and that's where our first part ends there. Now what I'll do is I'll introduce our cast. I'm sure most of you who are watching know these amazing actors, but we're going to explain it in the factions that they appear. So in the English court, there's King John, and that's played by me. His mother, Eleanor.
And that's played by me. I'm Alana.
His niece, Lady Blanche.
That's me. I'm Luann.
And there's the Earl of Salisbury.
That is me, Alana.
The Earl of Pembroke.
That's me, Jordann.
The Earl of Essex. Burke is the Earl of Essex. And then there are the petitioners to the court, Philip the bastard, the illegitimate son of Richard the First, the Lionheart.
Hi, that's me. I'm Glenn Thomas Cruz.
And Robert Falconbridge, his legitimate brother.
That's me again.
Their mother, Lady Falconbridge.
That's me.
James Gurney, her attendant.
Burke.
And then now the claimant to the English throne is Arthur, Duke of Britain, King John's nephew.
And that's me.
And his mother is played by is Lady Constance, played by
By me, Jordann.
And now there are the supporters of King Arthur's claim, the King Philip of France,
Hello, that's me, Anna.
his son, Louis the Dauphin,
Bonjour, that's me, Megan.
the Duke of Austria, also known as Limoges, Chantillon, the French ambassador,
Bonjour, Paul.
a soldier, Count Malone, and that's Megan.
That's me too.
And from the Pope in Rome, the legate, Cardinal Pandolf,
That's me, Paul.
and the rest of us play citizens. Oh, and we have Hubert of Angiers, later a confidant to King John.
Oui, oui. C'est moi.
We have the executioner, we have heralds, messengers, sheriffs, all sorts of lords, attendants, and soldiers. And that, in a nutshell, is King John. Now, we invite you to sit back and enjoy our reading, which is just over 75 minutes for part one. And then part two continues this time next week, same time, same channel. So now to you, The Life and Death of King John by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. Now, say, Chatillon, what would France with us?
Thus, after greeting speaks the King of France, in my behavior to the Majesty, the borrowed Majesty of England here.
Strange beginning. Borrowed majesty?
Ireland's good mother, hear the embassy.
Philip of France, in right and true behalf of thy deceased brother, Geoffrey's son, Arthur Plantagenet, lays most lawful claim to this fair land and the territories, to Ireland, Poitiers, Anjou, Touraine, Maine, desiring thee to lay aside the sword which sways usurpingly these several titles, and puts thee same into young Arthur's hand, thy nephew and right royal sovereign.
What follows if we disallow of this?
The proud control of fierce and bloody war, to enforce these rights so forcibly withheld.
Here have we war for war and blood for blood, controlment for controlment. So, answer, friends.
Then take my king's defiance from my mouth, the farthest limit of my embassy.
Bear mine to him, and so depart in peace. Be thou as lightning in the eyes of France. For ere thou canst report, I will be there. The thunder of my cannon shall be heard. So, hence, be thou the trumpet of our wrath and sullen presage of your own decay. An honorable conduct let him have. Pembroke, look to it. Farewell, Chatillon.
What now, my son? Have I not ever said how that ambitious Constance would not cease till she had kindled France and all the world upon the right and party of her son? This might have been prevented and made whole with very easy arguments of love, which now the manage of two kingdoms must with fearful bloody issue arbitrate.
Our strong possession and our right for us.
Your strong possession much more than your right, or else it must go wrong with you and me. So much my conscience whispers in your ear, which none but heaven and you and I shall hear.
My liege, here is the strangest controversy come from our country to be judged by you, that ere I heard. Shall I produce the men?
Let them approach. Our abbeys and our priories shall pay this expeditious charge. What men are you?
Your faithful subject. I, a gentleman born in Northamptonshire, an eldest son, as I suppose, to Robert Falconbridge, a soldier, by the honor-giving hand of Coeur de Lion, knighted in the field.
What art thou?
The son and heir to that same Falconbridge.
Is that the elder, and art thou the heir? You came not of one mother, then, it seems.
Most certain of one mother, mighty king. That is well known. And as I think one father, but for the certain knowledge of that truth, I put o'er to heaven and to my mother. Of that I doubt, as all men's children may.
Out on thee, rude man! Thou dost shame thy mother and wound her honor with this diffidence.
I, madam? No, I have no reason for it. That is my brother's plea, and none of mine, the which, if he can prove, pops me out at least from fair £500 a year. Heaven guard my mother's honor and my land.
A good, blunt fellow. Why, being younger born, doth he lay claim to thine inheritance?
I know not why, except to get the land. But once he slandered me with bastardy. But where I be as true begot or no, that still I lie upon my mother's head, but that I am as well begot, my liege. Fair fall the bones that took the pains for me. Compare our faces, and be judge yourself. If old Sir Robert did beget us both, and were our father and this son like him, oh, old Sir Robert, father, on my knee I give heaven thanks I was not like to thee.
Why, what a madcap hath heaven lent us here?
He hath a trick of Coeur de Lion's face, and the accent of his tongue affecteth him. Do you not read some tokens of my son in the large composition of this man?
Mine eye hath well examined his parts, and finds them perfect, Richard. Sirrah, speak. What doth move you to claim your brother's land?
Because he hath a half face like my father. With half that face, would he have all my land? A half face growth, £500 a year? My
gracious liege, when that my father lived, your brother did employ my father much.
Well, sir, by this you cannot get my land. Your tale must be how he employed my mother.
And once dispatched him in an embassy to Germany, there with the emperor to treat of high affairs touching that time, the advantage of his absence took the king, and in the meantime sojourned at my father's, where how he did prevail I shame to speak. But truth is truth. Large lengths of seas and shores between my father and my mother lay, as I have heard my father speak himself, when this same lusty gentleman was got. Upon his deathbed he by will bequeathed his lands to me, and took it on his death that this my mother's son was none of his. And if he were, he came into the world 14 weeks before the course of time. Then, good my liege, let me have what is mine, my father's land, as was my father's will.
Sirrah, your brother is legitimate. Your father's wife did after wedlock bear him, and if she did play false, the fault was hers, which fault lies on the hazards of all husbands that marry wives. Tell me, how if my brother, who, as you say, took pains to get this son, had of your father claimed this son for his? In sooth, good friend, your father might have kept this calf breed from his cow from all the world. In sooth, he might. Then, if he were my brother might not claim him, nor your father, being none of his, refuse him. This concludes, my mother's son did get your father's heir, and your father's heir must have your father's land.
Then shall my father's will be of no force to dispossess that child which is not his?
Of no more force to dispossess me, sir, than was his will to get me, as I think.
Whether hadst thou rather be of Falconbridge, and like thy brother to enjoy thy land, or the reputed son of Coeur de Lion, lord of thy presence, and no land beside?
Madam, and if my brother had my shape, and I had his, Sir Robert's his like him, and if my legs were two such riding rods, my arms such eel-skin stuff, my face so thin that in mine ear I durst not stick a rose, lest men should say, look where 3 farthings goes. And to his shape were heir to all this land, would I might never stir from off this place. I would give it every foot to have this face. It would not be so noble in any case.
I like thee well. Wilt thou forsake thy fortune, bequeath thy land to him, and follow me? I am a soldier and now bound to France.
Brother, take you my land, I'll take my chance. Your face hath got £500 a year, yet sell your face for 5 pence, and 'tis dear. Madam, I'll follow you until the death.
Nay, I would have you go before me thither.
Our country manners give our betters way.
What is thy name?
Philip, my liege, so is my name begun. Philip, good old Sir Robert's wives' eldest son.
From henceforth bear his name, whose form thou bearest. Kneel down, thou Philip, but rise more great. Arise, Sir Richard, and Plantagenet.
Brother by my mother's side, give me your hand. My father gave me honor, yours gave land. Now blessed be the house by night or day. When I was got, Sir Robert was away.
The very spirit of Plantagenet. I am thy grandam, Richard. Call me so.
Madam, by chance, but not by truth. What though? Something about a little from the right, in at the window, or else o'er the hatch. What dares not stir by day must walk by night, and have is have, however men do catch. Near or far off, well won is still well shot, and I am I, however I was begot.
Oh, Falconbridge, now hast thou thy desire. A landless knight makes thee a landed squire. Come, madam, and come, Richard. We must speed for France, for it is more than need.
Brother, adieu. Good fortune come to thee, for thou wast got in the way of honesty. A foot of honor better than I was, but many a foot of land the worse. Well, now I can make any Joan a lady. Good then, Sir Richard, God a mercy, fellow, and if his name be George, I'll call him Peter. For new made honor doth forget men's names. These 'tis too respective and too sociable for your conversion. Now your traveler, he and his toothpick at my worship's mess, and when my nightly stomach is sufficed, when I suck my teeth and catechize my picked man of countries, my dear sir, thus leaning on my elbow, I begin, I shall beseech you. This is question now, and then comes answer like an ABC book. Oh, sir's answers at your best command, at your employment, at your service. No, sir, says question. I, sweet sir, at yours. And so ere answer knows what question would, saving in dialogue of compliment and talking of Alps, of Apennines, the Pyrenean, the River Po, it draws towards supper in conclusion so. But this is all worshipful society and fits the mounting spirit like myself. For he is but a bastard to the time that doth smoke of observation, and so am I, whether I smack or no. And not alone in habit and device, exterior form, outward accoutrement, but from the inward motion to deliver sweet, sweet, sweet poison for the age's tooth, which though I will not practice to deceive, yet to avoid deceit, I mean to learn, for it shall strew the footsteps of my rising. But who comes in such haste in riding robes. What woman's post is this? Had she no husband that will take pains to blow a horn for her? Oh, but 'tis my mother. How now, good lady, what brings you to the court so hastily?
Where is that slave, thy brother? Where is he that holds in chase mine honor up and down?
My brother Robert, old Sir Robert's son. Coldbrand the giant, the same mighty man. Is it Sir Robert's son that seek you so?
Sir Robert's son. Aye, thou unreverend boy, Sir Robert's son? Why scornst thou at Sir Robert? He is Sir Robert's son, and so art thou.
James Gurney, will thou give us leave a while?
Good leave, good Philip.
Philip Sparrow, James. There's toys abroad. Anon, I'll tell thee more. Madam, I was not old Sir Robert's son. Sir Robert might have eat his part in me upon Good Friday and ne'er broke his fast. Sir Robert could do well, marry to confess, could get me. Sir Robert could not do it. We know his handiwork. Therefore, good mother, to whom am I beholding for these limbs, these limbs? Sir Robert never helped to make this leg.
Hast thou conspired with thy brother too, that for thine own gain shouldst defence mine honor? What means this scorn, thou must untoward knave?
Night, good mother, basilisco like. What, I am dubbed, I have it on my shoulder. But mother, I am not Sir Robert's son. I have disclaimed Sir Robert and my land, legitimation, name, and all is gone. Then good my mother, let me know my father. Some proper man, I hope. Who was it, mother?
Hast thou denied thyself of Falconbridge?
As faithfully as I deny the devil.
King Richard Cordelion was thy father. By long and vehement suit I was seduced to make room for him in my husband's bed. Heaven lay not my transgression to my charge, that art the issue of my dear offense, which was so strongly urged past my defense.
Now by this light, where I to get a gain, madam, I would not wish a better father. Some sins do bear the privilege on earth, and so doth yours. Your fault was not your folly. Needs must you lay out your heart at his dispose, subjected tribute to commanding love, against whose fury and unmatched force the aweless lion could not wage the fight, nor keep his princely heart from Richard's hand. He that perforce robs lions of their hearts may easily win a woman's. I, my mother, with all my heart, I thank thee for my father. Who lives and dares but say thou didst not well? When I was God, I'll send his soul to hell. Come, lady, I will show thee to my kin, and they shall say when Richard me begot, if thou had said him nay, it had been sin. Who says it was, he lies. I say was not.
Before Angiers, well met, brave Austria. Arthur, that great forerunner of thy blood. Richard that robbed the lion of his heart and fought the holy wars in Palestine. By this brave duke came early to his grave, and for amends to his posturate at our importance, hither is he come to spread his colors, boy, in thy behalf, and to rebuke the usurpation of thy unnatural uncle, English John. Embrace him, love him, give him welcome, Heather.
God shall forgive you Condillion's death, the rather that you give his offspring life, shattering there right under your wings of war. I give you welcome with a powerless hand, but with a heart full of unstained love, welcome before the gates of anger's duke.
Ah, a noble boy, who would not do thee right?
Upon thy cheek I lay this zealous kiss, as seal to this indenture of my love, that to my home I will no more return, till Algiers and the right thou hast in France, together with that pale, that white-faced shore, whose foot spurns back the ocean's roaring tides and coops from other lands her islanders, even till that England hedged in with the main, that water-walled bulwark still secure and confident with foreign purpose, from even till that utmost corner of the west, salute thee for her king. Till then, fair boy, I will not think of home, but follow arms.
Oh, take his mother's thanks, a widow's thanks, till your strong hand shall help to give him strength, to make a more requital to your love.
The peace of heaven is theirs, ere I lift their sword in such a just and charitable war.
Well then, to work, our cannon shall be bent against the brows of this resisting town. Call for our chiefest men of discipline to call the plots of best advantages. We'll lay before this town our royal bones, weighed to the marketplace in French men's blood, but we will make it subject to this boy.
Stay for an answer to your embassy, lest unadvised you stain your swords with blood. My lord Chatillon may from England bring that right in peace, which here we urge in war, and then we shall repent each drop of blood that hot rash haste so indirectly shed.
I wonder, lady, lo, upon thy wish our messenger Chatillon is arrived. What English says, say briefly, gentle lord, we coldly pause for thee. Chatillon, speak.
Then turn your forces from this paltry siege, and stirs them up against a mightier task. England, impatient of your just demands, hath put himself in arms. The adverse winds, whose leisure I have stead, have given him time to land his legions all as soon as I. His marches are expedient to this town, his forces strong, his soldiers confident. With him along is come the mother queen, an ace, stirring him to blood and strife. With her niece, the Lady Blanche of Spain, with them a bastard of the kings deceased, and all the unsettled humors of the land, rash, inconsiderate, fiery voluntaries, with ladies' faces and fierce dragon spleens, have sold their fortunes at their native homes, bearing their birthrights proudly on their backs, to make a hazard of new fortunes here. In brief, a braver choice of dauntless spirits than now the English bottoms have wafted over did never float upon the swelling tide to do offense and scathe in Christendom. The interruption of their churlish drums cuts off for circumstance they are at hand, to parley or to fight. Therefore, prepare.
How much unlooked for is this expedition?
By how much unexpected by so much. We shall awake endeavor for defense, for courage mounteth with occasion. Let them be welcome then. We are prepared.
Peace be to France. If France in peace permit our just and lineal entrance to our own, if not, bleed France and peace ascend to heaven, whiles we, God's wrathful agent, do correct their proud contempt that beats his peace to heaven.
Peace be to England. If that war return from France to England, there live in peace. England we love, and for that England's sake, with burden of our armor, here we sweat. This toil of ours should be a work of thine. But thou from loving England art so far that thou hast underwrought this lawful king, cut off the sequence of posterity, outfaced infant state, and done a rape upon the maiden virtue of the crown. Look, here upon thy brother Geoffrey's face, these eyes, these brows were molded out of his. The little abstract doth contain that large which died in Geoffrey. And the hand of time shall draw this brief into as huge a volume that Geoffrey was thy elder brother born, and this his son. England was Geoffrey's right, and this is Geoffrey's in the name of God. How comes it then that thou art called a king, when living blood doth in these temples beat, which owe the crown that thou o'ermasterest?
From whom hast thou this great commission, France, to draw my answer from thy articles?
From that supernatural judge that stirs good thoughts in any breast of strong authority, to look into the blots and stains of right. That judge hath made me guardian to this boy, under whose warrant I impeach thy wrong, and by whose help I mean to chastise it.
Alack, thou dost usurp authority.
Excuse it is to beat usurping down.
Who is it thou dost call usurper, France?
Let me make answer. Thy usurping son.
Out, insolent! Thy bastard shall be king, that thou mayest be a queen and check the world.
My bed was ever to thy son as true as thine was to thy husband. And this boy, liker in feature to his father Geoffrey than thou and John, in manners being as like as rain to water, or devil to his dam. My boy a bastard? By my soul, I think his father never was so true begot. It cannot be, and if thou wert his mother.
There's a good mother, boy, that blots thy father.
There's a good grandam, boy, that would blot thee.
Peace!
Oh, hear the crier.
What the devil art thou?
One that will play the devil, sir, with you, and may catch your hide and you alone. You are the hair of whom the proverb goes, whose valor plucks dead lions by the beard. I'll smoke your skin coat and I'll catch you right. Sir, I'll look to it. If faith, I will, if faith.
Oh, well did he become that lion's robe that did disrobe the lion of that robe.
It lies as sightly on the back of him as great outside shoe upon an ass. But ass, I'll take that burden from your back, or lay on that shall make your shoulders crack.
What cracker is the same that deafs our ears with this abundance of superfluous breath? King Louis, determine what we shall do straight.
Women and fools, break off your conference. King John, this is the very sum of all. England and Ireland, Angiers, Touraine, Maine, in right of Arthur do I claim of thee. Wilt thou resign them and lay down thy arms?
My life is soon. I do defy thee, France. Arthur of Britain, yield thee to my hand, and out of my dear love, I'll give thee more than e'er the coward hand of France can win. Submit thee, boy.
Come to thy grandam, child.
Do, child, go to your grandam, child. Give grandam kingdom, and at grandam will give ye a plum, a cherry, and a fig. There's a good grandam.
Good my mother's peace. I would that I were lay low in my grave. I'm not worth this coil that's made for me.
His mother shames him so. Poor boy, he weeps.
Now shame upon you where she does or no. His grandam's wrongs, and not his mother's shames, draws those heaven-moving pearls from his poor eyes, which heaven shall take in nature of a fee. I, with these crystal beads, heaven shall be bribed to do him justice and revenge on you.
Thou monstrous slanderer of heaven and earth.
Thou monstrous injurer of heaven and earth. Call not me slanderer, thou in thine usurp the dominations, royalties, and rights of this oppressed boy. This is thy eldest son's son, infortunate in nothing but in thee. Thy sins are visited in this poor child. The canon of the law is laid on him, being but the second generation removed from thy sin-conceiving womb.
Bedlam, have done.
I have but this to say, that he is not only plagued for her sin, but God hath made her sin and her, the plague on this removed issue, plagued for her, and with her plague her sin. His injury, her injury, the beetle to her sin, all punished in the person of this child, and all for her a plague upon her.
Thou unadvised scold, I can produce a will that bars the title of thy son.
I, who doubts that, a will, a wicked will, a woman's will, a cankred grandam's will.
Peace, lady, pause, or be more temperate. It ill beseems this presence to cry aim to these ill-tuned repetitions. Some trumpets summer hither to the walls, these men of Algiers. Let us hear them speak, whose title they admit, Arthur or John's.
Who is it that warned us to the walls?
'Tis France for England.
England for itself, you men of Angiers, and my loving subjects.
You loving man of Angiers, Arthur's subjects. Our trumpet calls you this gentle parle.
For our advantage, therefore, hear us first. These flags of France that are advanced here before the eye, prospect of your town, have hither marched to your endangerment. The cannons have their bowels full of wrath, and ready mounted are they to spit forth their iron indignation against your walls, all preparation for a bloody siege and merciless proceeding by these French. Comfort yours, city eyes, your winking gates, and but for our approach, those sleeping stones that as a waist doth girdle you about by the compulsion of their ordinance, by this time from their fixed beds of lime had been dishabited and wide havoc made for bloody power to rush upon your peace. The sight of us, your lawful king, who painfully with much expedition march have brought a counter-check before your gates to save unscratched your city's threatened cheeks. Behold the French, amazed vouchsafe a parley, and now, instead of bullets wrapped in fire to make a shaking fever in your walls, they shoot but calm words folded up in smoke to make a faithless error in your ears, which trust accordingly, kind citizens, and let us in. Your king, whose labored spirits fore-wearied in this action of swift speed, craves harborage within your city walls.
When I have said, make answer to us both. Lo, in this right hand, whose protection is most divinely vowed upon the right of him it holds, stands young Plantagenet, son to the elder brother of this man, and king o'er him, and all that he enjoys for this downtrodden equity. We tread in warlike march, those greens before your town being no further enemy to you than the constraint of hospitable zeal in the relief of this oppressed child religiously provokes. Be pleased then to pay that duty which you truly owe to him that owes it, namely this young prince. And then our arms, like to a muzzled bear, save an aspect, hath all offense sealed up. Our cannon's malice vainly shall be spent against the invulnerable clouds of heaven, and with a blessed and unvexed rhetor in hacked swords and helmets all unbruised, we will bear home that lusty blood again, which here we have come to spout against your town, and leave your children, wives, and you in peace. But if you fondly pass our proffer's offer, 'tis not the rounder of your old-faced walls can hide you from our messengers of war. Through all these English and their discipline were harbored in their crude circumference, then tell us, shall your city call us lord in that behalf which we have challenged it? Or shall we give the signal to our rage and stalk in blood to our possession?
In brief, we are the King of England's subjects. For him, and in his right, we hold this town.
Acknowledge then the king, and let me in.
That we cannot. But he that proves the king, to him we will prove loyal. Till that time have we rammed up our gates against the world.
Not the crown of England prove the king? And if not that, I bring you witnesses, twice 15,000 hearts of England's breed.
Bastards and else.
By our title with their lives.
As many and as well-born bloods as those.
Some bastards too.
and in his face to contradict his claim.
Till you compound whose right is worthiest, we for our worthiest hold the right from both.
God forgive the sin of all those souls that to their everlasting residence before the dew of evening fall shall fleet in dreadful trial of our kingdom's king.
Amen, amen. Mount chevaliers to arms.
Saint George that swing the dragon, and Erison sits on a horseback at mine hostess door, teach us some fence. Sirrah, were I at home and at your den, Sirrah, with your lioness, I would set an ox head to your lion's hide and make a monster of you.
Peace, no more.
Oh, tremble, for you hear the lion roar.
Higher to the plain where we'll set forth in best appointment all our regiments.
Speed then to take advantage of the field.
Shall be so, and at the other hill command the rest to stand, God and our right.
You men of Angiers, open wide your gates, and let young Arthur, Duke of Britain, in, who, by the hand of France, this day hath made much work for tears in many an English mother, whose sons lie scattered on the bleeding ground. Many a widow's husband groveling lies, coldly embracing the discolored earth. And victory with little loss doth play upon the dancing banners of their French, who are at hand triumphantly displayed to enter conquerors and to proclaim Arthur of Britain, England's king and yours.
Rejoice, you men of Angiers, ring your bells. King John, your king in England, doth approach, commander of this hot malicious day. Their armors that matched, hence so silver bright, hither return all gilt with Frenchmen's blood. There stuck no plume in any English crest that is removed by a staff of France. Our colors do return in those same hands that did display them when we first marched forth, and like a jolly troop of huntsmen come, our lusty English, all with purpled hands, died in the dying slaughter of their foes. Open your gates and give the victors way.
Heralds from off our towers, we might behold from first to last the onset and retire of both your armies, whose equality by our best eyes cannot be censured. Blood hath brought blood, and blows have answered blows. Strength matched with strength, and power confronted power. Both are alike, and both alike we like. One must prove greatest. While they weigh so even, we hold our town for neither, yet for both.
France, hast thou yet more blood to cast away? Say, shall the current of our right roam, on whose passage vexed with thy impediment, shall leave this native channel, and or swell with course disturb even thy confining shores, unless thou let his silver water keep a peaceful progress to the ocean?
England, thou hast not saved one drop of blood in this hot trial more than we of France rather lost more. And by this hand I swear that sways the earth this climate overlooks, before we lay down our just bored arms, we'll put thee down, against whom these arms we bear, or add a royal number to the dead, gracing the scrowl that tells of this war's loss, with slaughter coupled to the name of kings.
Ah, Majesty, how high thy glory towers when the rich blood of kings is set on fire. Oh, now doth death line his dead chaps with steel. The swords of soldiers are his teeth, his fangs, and now he feasts, mousing the flesh of men in undetermined difference of kings. Why stand these royal fronts amazed thus? Cry havoc, kings! Back to the stained field, you equal potents! Fired kindle spirits, then let confusion of one part confirm the other's peace. Till then, blows, blood, and death.
Party do the townsmen yet admit.
Speak, citizens for England, who's your king?
The King of England, when we know the king.
Know him in us that here hold up his right.
In us? that are our own great deputy and bear possession of our own person here, lord of our presence and years and of you.
A greater power than we denies all this. Until it be undoubted, we do lock our former scruple in our strong barred gates. Kings of our fear, until our fears resolved, be by some certain king purged and disposed.
By heaven, these scrolls of Angers flout you kings, and stand securely on their battlements as in a theater whence they gape and point at your industrious scenes and acts of death? Your royal presence be ruled by me. Do, like the mutants of Jerusalem, be friends a while, and both conjointly bend your sharpest deeds of malice on this town. By east and west, let France and England mount their battering canyon charge to the mouths till their soul-fearing clamors have brawled down their finite flinty ribs of this contemptuous city. I play incessantly upon the jades, even till unfenced desolation leave them as naked as the vulgar air. That done, dissever your united strengths and part your mingled colors once again. Turn face to face and bloody point to point. Then, in a moment, fortune shall call forth out of one side her happy minion, to whom in favor she shall give the day and kiss him with a glorious victory. How like you this wild counsel, mighty states? Smacks if something out of politic.
Now by the sky that hangs above our heads, I like it well. France, shall we knit our powers and lay this Angiers even with a ground, and after fight who shall be king of it?
And if thou hast mettle of a king, being wronged as we are by this peevish town, turn thou the mouth of thy artillery as we will ours against these saucy walls, and when that we have dashed them to the ground, why then defy each other and pell-mell make work upon ourselves for heaven or hell?
Let it be so. Say, where will you assault?
From the west will send destruction into this city's bosom.
I from the north.
Our thunder from the south shall rain our drift of bullets on this town.
Oh, prudent discipline from north to south, Austria and France shoot each other's mouth. I'll stir them to it. Come, away, away!
Hear us, great kings. Vouchsafe a while to stay, and I shall show you peace and fair-faced league. Win you this city without stroke or wound, rescue those breathing lives to die in beds, that here come sacrifices for the field. Persever not, but hear me, mighty kings.
On with favor, we are bent to hear.
That daughter there of Spain, the Lady Blanche, is near to England. Look upon the years of Louis the Dauphin and that lovely maid. If lusty love should go in quest of beauty, where should he find it fairer than in Blanche? If zealous love should go in search of virtue, where should he find it purer than in Blanche? If love ambitious sought a match of birth whose veins bound richer blood than Lady Blanche. Such as she is in beauty, virtue, birth, is the young Dauphin every way complete. If not complete of, say he is not she, and she again wants nothing to name want, if want it be not, that she is not he. He is the half part of a blessed man, left to be finished by such as she. And she, a fair, divided excellence, whose fullness of perfection lies in him. Oh, two such silver currents when they join do glorify the banks that bound them in. And two such shores, to two such streams made one, to two such controlling bounds shall you be kings. To these two princes, if you marry them. This union shall do more than battery can to our fast-closed gates. For at this match, with swifter spleen than powder can enforce the mouth of passage, shall we fling wide ope and give you entrance. But without this match, the sea enraged is not half so deaf, lions more confident, mountains and rocks more free from motion. No, not death himself in mortal fury hath so peremptory as we to keep this city.
Here's a step that shakes the rotten carcass of old death out of his rags. Here's a large mouth indeed that spits forth death and mountains, rocks and seas, talks as familiarly of roaring lions as maids of 13 do of puppy dogs. What cannoneer begot this lusty blood? He speaks plain cannon fire and smoke and bounce. He gives the bastinado with his tongue, and ears are cudgeled. Not a word of his, but buffets better than a fist of France. Zounds, I was never so bethumped with words since I first called my brother's father dad.
Son, list to this conjunction. Make this match. Give with our niece a dowry large enough, for by this knot thou shalt so surely tie thy now unsured assurance to the crown, that yon green boy shall have no son to ripe the bloom that promiseth a mighty fruit. I see a yielding in the looks of France. Mark how they whisper. Urge them while their souls are capable of this ambition, lest zeal now melted by the windy breath of soft petitions, pity and remorse, cool and congeal again to what it was.
Why answer not the double majesties this friendly treaty of our threatened town?
Speak, England, first that hath been forward first to speak unto the city. What say you?
If that the dolphin there, thy princely son, can this book of beauty read I love, here dowry shall weigh equal with a queen. For Angiers and fair Terrain, Maine, Poitiers, and all that we upon this side the sea, except the city now by us besieged, find liable to our crown and dignity, shall gild her bridal bed and make her rich in titles, honors, and promotions. She in beauty, education, blood holds hand with any princess of the world.
What sayest thou, boy? Look in the lady's face.
I do, my lord. And in her eye I find a wonder, or a wondrous miracle, the shadow of myself formed in her eye, which being but the shadow of your son, becomes a sun and makes your son a shadow. I do protest that I never loved myself till now. In fixed I beheld myself drown in the flattering table of her eye.
Drown in the flattering table of her eye, hanged in the frowning wrinkle of her brow, and quartered in her heart. He doth espy himself love's traitor. This is pity now, that hanged and drowned and quartered there should be in such a love so vile a lout as he.
My uncle's will in this respect is mine, if he see aught in you that makes him like, that anything he sees which moves his liking, I can with ease translate it to my will. Or if you will, to speak more properly, I will enforce it easily to my love. Further, I will not flatter you, my lord, that all I see in you is worthy love, than this, that nothing do I see in you, though churlish thoughts themselves should be your judge, that I can find should merit any hate.
What say these young ones? What say you, my niece?
That she is bound in honor still to do what you in wisdom still vouchsafe to say.
Speak then, Prince Dauphin. Can you love this lady?
Nay, ask me if I can refrain from love, for I do love her most unfriendly.
That I do give thee Vaucresson, Touraine, Maine, Poitiers, and Anjou, these 5 provinces with her to thee, and this addition more. Full 30,000 marks of English coin. Philip of France, if thou be pleased withal, command thy son and daughter to join hands.
It likes us well, young princess. Close your hands.
And your lips too, for I am well assured that I did so when I was first assured.
Now, citizens of Angiers, open your gates. Let in that amity which you have made, for at St. Marie's chapel presently, the rites of marriage shall be solemnized. Is not the Lady Constance in this troop? I know she is not for this maid match up, which her presence would have interrupted much. Where is she and her son? Tell me, who knows?
She is sad and passionate at your highness's tent.
And by my faith, this league that we have made will give her sadness very little cure. Brother of England, how may we content this widow lady? In her right we came, which God knows have turned another way to our own vantage.
We'll heal up all, for we'll create young Arthur, Duke of Britain and Earl of Richmond, and this fair, rich town we make him lord of. Call the Lady Constance. Some speedy messenger bid her repair to our solemnity. I trust we shall, if not fill up the measure of her will, yet in some measure satisfy her so, that we shall stop her exclamation. Go we, as well as hast will suffer us, to this unlooked for unprepared pomp.
Mad world, mad kings, mad composition. John, to stop author's title in the whole, hath willingly departed with a part. And France, whose armor conscience buckled on, whom zeal and charity brought to the field as God's own soldier, rounded in the ear with that same purpose changer, that sly devil, that broker, that still breaks the pate of faith, that daily break vow, he that winds of all, of kings, of beggars, old men, young men, maids who have nothing, no external thing to lose but the word maid, cheats the poor maid of that smooth-faced gentleman, tickling commodity, the bias of the world who of itself is paid well, made to run even, upon even ground, till this advantage, this vile drawing bias, this sway of motion, this commodity makes it take head from all indifference, from all direction, purpose, course, intent. And this same bias, this commodity, this bawd, this broker, this all-changing word clapped on the outward eye of fickle France, hath drawn him from his own determined eye, from a resolved and honorable war to a most base and vile concluded peace. And why rail I on this commodity? But for because it had not wooed me yet. Not that I have the power to clutch my hand with his fair angels, would salute my palm, but for my hand as unattempted yet, like a poor beggar, raileth on the rich. Well, whilst I'm a beggar, I will rail and say there is no sin but to be rich. And being rich, my venture then shall be to say there is no vice but beggary. Since kings break faith upon commodity, gain be my lord, for I will worship thee.
Gone to be married? Gone to swear a peace? False blood to false blood joined? Gone to be friends? Shall Louis have Blanche, and Blanche those Provences? It is not so. Thou hast misspoke, misheard. Be well advised, tell o'er thy tale again. It cannot be. Thou dost but say 'tis so. I trust I may not trust thee, for thy word is but the vain breath of a common man. Believe me, I do not believe thee, man. I have a king's oath to the contrary. Thou shalt be punished for thus frighting me, for I am sick and capable of fears, oppressed with wrongs, and therefore full of fears. a widow, husbandless, subject to fears, a woman naturally born to fears. And though thou now confess thou didst but jest with my vexed spirits, I cannot take a truce. They will quake and tremble all this day. What dost thou mean by shaking of thy head? Why dost thou look so sadly on my son? What means that hand upon that breast of thine? Why holds thine eye that lamentable room, like a proud river peering o'er his bonds? Be these sad signs of confirmers of thy words? Then speak again, not all thy former tale, but this one word, whether thy tale be true.
As true as I believe you think them false, that give you cause to prove my saying true.
Oh, if thou teach me to believe this sorrow, teach thou this sorrow, how to make me die. And let belief and life encounter so, as doth the fury of two desperate men, which in the very meeting fall and die. Louis, Mary Blanche? Oh boy, then where art thou? France friend with England? What becomes of me? Fellow, be gone. I cannot brook thy sight. This news hath made thee a most ugly man.
What other harm have I, good lady, done, but spoke the harm that is by others done?
Which harm within itself so heinous is, as it makes harmful all that speak of it.
I do beseech you, madam, be content.
If thou that bidst me be content wert grim, ugly, and slanderous to thy mother's womb, full of unpleasing blots and sightless stains, lame, foolish, crooked, swart, prodigious, patched with foul moles and eye-offending marks, I would not care. I then would be content, for then I should not love thee. No, nor thou become thy great birth, nor deserve a crown. But thou art fair, and at thy birth, dear boy, nature and fortune joined to make thee great. Of nature's gifts thou mayst with lilies boast, and with the half-blown rose. But fortune, oh, she is corrupted, changed, and won from thee. She adulterates hourly with thine uncle John, and with her golden hand hath plucked on France to tread down fair respect of sovereignty, and made his majesty the bawd to theirs. France is a bawd to fortune, and King John, that strumpet fortune, that usurping John. Tell me, thou fellow, is not France forsworn? Envenom him with words, or get thee gone, and leave those woes alone, which I alone am bound to underbear.
Pardon me, madam, I may not go without you to the king.
Thou mayst, thou shalt. I will not go with thee. I will instruct my sorrows to be proud, for grief is proud and makes his owner stoop. To me and to the state of my great grief, let kings assemble, for my grief so great that no supporter but the huge firm earth can hold it up. Here I and sorrow sit. Here is my throne. Bid kings come bow to it.
'Tis true, fair daughter, at this blessed day, ever in France shall be kept festival. To solemnize this day, the glorious sun stays his course, and plays the alchemist, turning with splendor of his precious eye the meager clodding earth of glittering gold. The yearly course that brings this day about shall never see it but a holy day.
A wicked day, and not a holy day. What hath this day deserved? What hath it done, that in the golden letters should beset among the high tides in the calendar? Nay, rather turn this day out of the week, this day of shame, oppression, perjury. Or if it must stand still, let wives with child pray that their burdens may not fall this day, lest that their hopes prodigiously be crossed. But on this day, let seamen fear no rack, no bargains break that are not this day made. This day all things begun, come to ill end. Yea, faith itself to hollow falsehood change.
By heaven, lady, you shall have no cause to curse the fair proceedings of this day. Have I not pawned you to my majesty?
You have beguiled me with a counterfeit resembling majesty, which being touched and trid proves valueless. You are forsworn, forsworn. You came in arms to spill mine enemy's blood, but now in arms you strengthen it with yours. The grappling vigor and rough frown of war is cold in amity and painted peace, and our oppression hath made up this league. Arm, arm, you heavens, against these perjured kings. A widow cries, be husband to me, heavens. Let not the hours of this ungodly day wear out the days in peace, but ere sunset, set armed discord twixt these perjured kings. Hear me, oh, hear me.
Lady Constance, peace.
War, war, no peace. Peace is to me a war. Oh, Limoges, oh, Austria, thou dost shame that bloody spoil. Thou slave, thou wretch, thou coward, thou little valiant, great in villainy, thou ever strong upon the stronger side, thou fortune's champion, that doest never fight, but when her humorous ladyship is by to teach thee safety. Thou art perjured too, and sooth'st up greatness. What a fool art thou, a ramping fool, to brag and stamp and swear upon my party? Thou cold-blooded slave, hast thou not spoke like thunder on my side? Been sworn my soldier, bidding me depend upon thy stars, thy fortune, and thy strength? And dost thou now fall over to my foes? Thou wears a lion's hide, doff it for shame, and hang a calf's skin on those recreant limbs.
Oh, that a man should speak those words to me.
And hang a calfskin on those recreant limbs.
Thou darest not say so vile for thy life.
And hang a calfskin on those recreant limbs.
Not this, thou dost forget thyself.
Here comes the holy legate of the Pope.
Hail, you anointed deputies of heaven. To thee, King John, my holy errand is. I, Pandolf, a fair Milan cardinal, and from Pope Innocent the legate here, do in his name religiously demand why thou against the church, our holy mother, so willfully dost spurn, and force perforce keep Stephen Langdon, chosen Archbishop of Canterbury, from that holy see. This in our foresaid Holy Father's name, Pope Innocent, I do demand of thee.
What earthly name to interrogatories can taste the free breath of a sacred king? Thou canst not, Cardinal, devise a name so slight, unworthy, and ridiculous to charge me to an answer as the Pope. Tell him this tale. From the mouth of England add thus much more, that no Italian priest shall tithe or toll in our dominions. But as we under heaven are supreme head, so under him that great supremacy where we do reign, we will alone uphold without assistance of a mortal hand. So tell the Pope all reverence set apart to him and his usurped authority.
Brother of England, you blasphemy in this.
When all the kings of Christendom are led so grossly by this meddling priest, dreading the curse that money may buy out, and by the merit of vile gold, dross, dust, purchase corrupted pardon of a man who, in that sale, sells pardon from himself. Though you and all the rest so grossly led this juggling witchcraft with revenue cherish, yet I alone do me oppose against the Pope and count his friends my foes.
Then by the lawful power that I have, thou shalt stand cursed and excommunicate, and blessed shall he be that doth revolt from his allegiance to an heretic, and meritorious shall that hand be called canonized and worshipped as a saint, that takes away by any secret course thy hateful life.
Oh, lawful let it be, that I have room with Rome to curse a while. Good Father Cardinal, cry thou amen to my keen curses, for without my wrong, there is no tongue hath power to curse him right.
There's law and warrant, lady, for my curse.
And for mine too, when law can do no right. Let it be lawful, that law bar no wrong. Law cannot give my child his kingdom here, for he that holds his kingdom holds the law. Therefore, since law itself is perfect wrong, how can the law forbid my tongue to curse?
Philip of France, on peril of a curse, let go the hand of that arch heretic, and raise the power of France upon his head, unless he do submit himself to Rome.
Look'st thou pale, France? Do not let go thy hand.
Look to that devil, lest that France repent, and by disjoining hands hell lose a soul.
King Philip, listen to the cardinal.
And hang a calf skin on that recreant limbs.
Well, ruffian, I must pocket up these wrongs, because
Your breeches best may carry them.
What sayest thou to the cardinal?
What should he say but as the cardinal?
Thank you, Father, for the difference's purchase of a heavy curse from Rome, or the light loose of England for a friend. Forgo the easier.
That's the curse of Rome.
Oh, Louis, stand fast. The devil tempts thee here in the likeness of a new untrimmed bride.
The Lady Constance speaks not from her faith, but from her need.
Oh, if thou grant my need, which onely lives but the faith of death, that need must needs infere this principle, that faith would live again by death of need. Oh, then tread down my need, and faith mounts up. Keep my need up, and faith is trodden down.
Is moved and answers not to this.
Oh, be removed from him, and answer well.
do so, King Philip. Hang no on more on doubt.
Hang nothing but a calf skin, most sweet lout.
I am perplexed and know not what to say.
What canst thou say? What will perplex thee more? If thou stand excommunicate and cursed?
Reverend Father, make my person you, and tell me how you would bestow yourself. This royal hand and mine are newly knit, and the conjunction of our inward souls married in league, coupled and linked together with all religious strength of sacred vows. The latest breath that gave the sound of words was deep sworn faith, peace, amity, true love between our kingdoms and our royal selves. And even before this truce, but knew before no longer than we well could wash our hands to clap this royal bargain up of peace. Heaven knows they were besmeared and overstained with slaughter's pencil, where revenge did paint the fearful difference of incensed kings. And shall these hands so lately purged of blood, so newly joined in love, so strong in both, unyoke the seizure and this kind regret, play fast and loose with faith, so just with heaven make such unconstant children of ourselves, and now gain to snatch our palm from palm, unswear faith sworn, and on the marriage bed of smiling peace to bloody march host, and make a riot on the gentle brow of true sincerity? Oh, holy sir, my reverend father, let it not be so. Out of your grace, devise, ordain, impose some gentle order, and then we shall be blessed to do your pleasure and continue friends.
All form is formless, order orderless, save what is opposite to England's love. Therefore to arms, be champion of our church, or let the church our mother breathe her curse, a mother's curse on her revolting son. France, thou mayst hold the serpent by the tongue, a cased lion by the mortal paw, a fasting tiger safer by the tooth, then keep in peace that hand which thou dost hold.
I may disjoin my hand, but not my faith.
So makest thou faith an enemy to faith, and like a civil war sets oath to oath, thy tongue against thy tongue. O let thy vow first made to heaven, first be to heaven performed. That is, to be the champion of our church. What since thou sworest is sworn against thyself, and may not be performed by thyself. For that which thou hast sworn to do amiss is not amiss when it is truly done, and being not done where doing tends to ill, the truth is then most done not doing it. The better act of purposes mistook is to mistake again, although indirect, yet indirection thereby grows direct, and falsehood cures as fire cools fire within the scorched veins of one new burned. It is religion that doth make vows kept, but thou hast sworn against religion. But what thou swearest against the thing thou swearest, and makest an oath the surety for thy truth. Against an oath the truth thou art unsure to swear, swears only not to be forsworn, else what a mockery should it be to swear. But thou dost swear only to be forsworn, and most forsworn to keep what thou dost swear. Therefore thy later vows against thy first is in thyself rebellion to thyself, and better conquest never canst thou make than arm thy constant and thy nobler parts against these giddy loose suggestions. Upon which better part our prayers come in, if thou vouchsafe them. But if not, then know the peril of our curses light on thee, so heavy as thou shalt not shake them off, but in despair die under their black weight.
Rebellion, flat rebellion.
Will not be. Will not a calfskin stop that mouth of thine?
Father, to arms.
On thy wedding day, against the blood that thou hast married? What shall our feast be kept with, slaughtered men? Shall braying trumpets and loud churlish drums, clamors of hell, be measures to our pomp? O husband, hear me. Alack, how new is husband in my mouth, even for that name which till this time my tongue did ne'er pronounce. Upon my knee I beg, go not to arms against mine uncle.
Oh, upon my knee, made hard with kneeling, I do pray to thee, thou virtuous Dauphin, alter not the doom forethought by heaven.
Now shall I see thy love, what motive may be stronger with thee than the name of wife.
That which upholdeth him, that thee upholds his honor. Oh, thine honor, Louis, thine honor.
I muse your majesty doth seem so cold, when such profound respects do pull you on. I will denounce a curse upon his head.
Thou shalt not need. England, I will fall from thee.
Oh, fair return of banished majesty.
O foul revolt of French inconstancy.
France, thou shalt rue this hour within this hour.
Old time the clock said it, ye bald sexton time. Is it as he will? Well then, France shall rule.
The suns are cast with blood. Fair day, adieu. Which is the side that I must go withal? I am with both. Each army hath a hand, and in their rage I having hold of both, they whirl asunder and dismember me. Husband, I cannot pray that thou mayst win. Uncle, I needs must pray that thou must lose. Father, I may not wish the fortune thine. Grandam, I will not wish thy wishes thrive. Whoever wins on that side shall I lose. Assured loss before the match be played.
Lady, with me thy fortune lies.
There where my fortune lives, there my life dies.
Cousin, go, draw our puissance together. France, I am burned up with inflaming wrath, a rage whose heat hath this condition, that nothing can allay, nothing but blood, the blood and dearest valued blood of France.
Thy rage shall burn thee up. Thou shalt turn to ashes, ere our blood shall quench that fire. Look to thyself, thou art in jeopardy.
More than he that threats. To arms, let's hie.
Now by my life this day grows wondrous hot. Some avery devil hovers in the sky and pours down mischief. Austria's head lies there, while Philip breathes.
Hubert, keep this boy. Philip, make up. My mother is assailed in our tent and fain, I fear.
My lord, I rescued her. Her highness is in safety, fear you not. But on my liege, for your little pains will bring this labor to a happy end.
So shall it be. Your grace shall stay behind, so strongly guarded. Cousin, look not sad. Thy grandam loves thee, and thy uncle will as dear be to thee as thy father was.
Oh, this will make my mother die with grief.
Cousin, away for England. Hasten before, and ere our coming, see thou shake the bags of hoarding abbots, imprisoned angels set at liberty. The fat ribs of peace must by thy hungry now be fed upon. Use our commission in his utmost force.
Bell, brook, and candle shall not drive me back. When gold and silver becks me to come on, I leave your highness. Grandam, I will pray, if ever I remember to be holy, for your fair safety. So I kiss your hand.
Farewell, gentle cousin.
Cuz, farewell.
Come hither, little kinsman. Hark, a word.
Come hither, Hubert. Oh, my gentle Hubert, we owe thee much. Within this wall of flesh there is a soul counts thee for her creditor, and with advantage means to pay thy love. And my good friend, thy voluntary oath lives in this bosom dearly cherished. Give me thy hand. I had a thing to say, but I will fit it with some better tune. Oh, heaven, Hubert, I am almost ashamed to say what good respect I have of thee.
I am much bounden to your majesty.
Friend, thou hast no cause to say so yet, but thou shalt have. And creep time ne'er so slow, yet it shall come for me to do thee good. I had a thing to say, but let it go. The sun is in the heaven, and the proud day attended with the pleasures of the world is all too wanton and too full of gods to give me audience. If the midnight bell did with his iron tongue and brazen mouth sound on into the drowsy race of night, if this same were a churchyard where we sat, and thou, possessed with 1,000 wrongs of that surly spirit melancholy, had baked thy blood and made it heavy thick, which else runs tickling up and down the veins, making the idiot laughter keep men's eyes, strain their cheeks to idle merriment, a passion hateful to my purposes. Or, if that thou couldst see me without eyes, hear me without thine ears, and make reply without a tongue, using conceit alone, without eyes, ears, harmful sound of words, then despite a brooded, watchful day, I would into thy bosom pour my thoughts. I will not yet. I love thee well, and by my troth, I think thou lovest me well.
So well that what you bid me undertake, thou, that my death were adjunct to my act, by heaven I would do it.
Do not I know thou wouldst? Good Hubert, Hubert, throw thine eye on yon young boy. I'll tell thee what, my friend, he is a very serpent in my way. And wheresoe'er this foot of mine doth tread, he lies before me. Dost thou understand me? Thou art his keeper.
And I'll keep him so that he shall not offend your majesty.
Death,
My lord,
the grave.
he shall not live.
Enough. I could be married now, Hubert. Oh, I love thee. Well, I'll not say what I intended for thee. Remember, madam, fare you well. I'll send those powers over to your majesty.
My blessing goes with thee.
England, cousin, go! Hubert shall be your man. Attend on you with all true duty. On! Toward Callus. Hoa!
So by a roaring tempest on the flood, a whole armado of convicted sail is scattered and disjoined from fellowship.
Courage and comfort, all shall yet go well.
What can go well when we have run so ill? Are we not beaten? Is not Angiers lost, author and bloody England into England gone, or bearing interruptions spite of France?
What he hath won, he hath forfeited. So hot a speed, with such advice disposed, such temperate order in so fierce a cause, doth want example. Who hath read or heard of any kindred action like to this?
Well, I could bear that England had this praise, so we could find some pattern of our shame. Look who comes here, a grave unto a soul, holding the eternal spirit against her will, is the vile prison of affected breath. I prithee, lady, go away with me.
Lo, now see the issue of your peace.
Patience, good lady, comfort, gentle Constance.
No, I defy all counsel, all redress, but that which ends all counsel, true redress. Death, death, oh, amiable, lovely death, thou odoriferous stench, sound, rottenness, arise forth from the couch of lasting night, thou hate and terror to prosperity. And I will kiss thy detestable bones, and put my eyeballs in thy vaulty brows, and wring these fingers with thy household worms, and stop this gap of breath with fulsome dust, and be a carrion monster like thyself. Come, grin on me, and I will think thou smilest, and buff thee as thy wife. Misery's love, oh, come to me.
Oh, fair affection, peace.
No, I will not, having breath to cry. Oh, that my tongue were in the thunder's mouth. Then with a passion would I shake the world, and rouse from sleep that fell anatomy which cannot hear a lady's feeble voice, which scorns a modern invocation.
Lady, you utter madness and not sorrow.
Thou art wholly to belie me so. I am not mad. This hair I tear is mine. My name is Constance. I was Geoffrey's wife. Young Arthur is my son, and he is lost. I am not mad. I would to heaven I were, for then 'tis like I should forget myself. Oh, if I could, what grief should I forget? Preach some philosophy to make me mad, and thou shalt be canonized, Cardinal. For, being not mad, but sensible of grief, my reasonable part produces reason how I may be delivered of these woes, and teaches me to kill or hang myself. If I were mad, I should forget my son, or madly think a babe of clots were he. I am not mad. Too well I feel the different plague of each calamity.
Bind up those tresses. Oh, what love I note in the fair multitude of those her hairs, where but by a chance the silver drop hath fallen, even to that drop 10,000 wiry fines do glow themselves in sociable grief, like true, inseparable, faithful loves sticking together in calamity.
To England, if you will.
Bind up your hairs.
Yes, that I will. And wherefore will I do it? I tore them from their bonds and cried aloud, oh, that these hands could so redeem my son, as they have given these hairs their liberty. But now I envy at their liberty, and will again commit them to their bonds, because my poor child is a prisoner. And Father Cardinal, I have heard you say that we shall see and know our friends in heaven. If that be true, I shall see my boy again. For since the birth of Cain, the first male child, to him that did but yesterday suspire, there was not such a gracious creature born. But now will canker sorrow eat my bud, and chase the native beauty from his cheek. And he will look as hollow as a ghost, as dim and meager as an ague's fit. And so he'll die. And rising so again, when I shall meet him in the court of heaven, I shall not know him. Therefore never, never must I behold my pretty Arthur more.
You hold too heinous a respect of grief.
He talks to me that never had a son.
You are as fond of grief as you are of your child.
Grief fills the room up of my absent child, lies in his bed, walks up and down with me, puts on his pretty looks, repeats his words, remembers me of all his gracious parts, stuffs out his vacant garments with this form. Then have I reason to be fond of grief? Very well. Had you such a loss as I could give better comfort than you do. I will not keep this form upon my head when there is such disorder in my wit. Oh Lord, my boy, my Arthur, my fair son, my life, my joy, my food, my all the world, my widow comfort, and my sorrow's cure.
I fear some outrage, and I'll follow her.
There is nothing in this world can make me joy. Life is as tedious as a twice-told tale, vexing the dull air of the drowsy man, and bitter shame hath spoiled the shame and bitterness.
Before the curing of a strong disease, even in the instant of repair and health, the fit is strongest. Evils that shall take leave on their departure, most of all show evil. What have you lost by losing of this day?
All days of glory, joy, happiness.
If you had won it, certainly you had. No, no. When fortune means to men most good, she looks upon them with a threatening eye. 'Tis strange to think how much King John hath lost in this which he accounts so clearly won. Are you not grieved that Arthur is his prisoner?
As heartily as he is glad to be hath him.
Your mind is all as useful as your blood. Now hear me speak with a prophetic spirit. For even the breath of what I mean to speak shall blow each dust, each straw, each little rub out of the path which shall directly lead thy foot to England's throne. And therefore mark, John hath seized Arthur, and it cannot be that whilst warm life plays in that instant's veins, the misplaced John should entertain an hour, 1 minute, nay, one quiet breath of rest. A scepter snatched with an unruly hand must be as boisterously maintained as gained. And he that stands upon a slippery place makes nice of no vile hold to stay him up. That John may stand, then Arthur needs to fall. So be it, for it cannot be but so.
But what shall I gain by young Arthur's fall?
You, in the right of Lady Blanche your wife, may then make all the claim that Arthur did.
And lose it, life and all, as Arthur did.
How green you are and fresh in this old world. John lays you plots. The times conspire with you. For he that steeps his safety in true blood shall find but bloody safety and untrue. This act, so evilly born, shall cool the hearts of all his people and freeze up their zeal, that none so small advantage shall step forth to check his reign, but they will cherish it. No natural exaltation in the sky, no scope of nature, no distempered day, no common wind, no customed event, but they will pluck away his natural cause and call them meteors, prodigies, and signs, abortives, presages, and tongues of heaven, plainly denouncing vengeance upon John.
Maybe he will not touch young Arthur's life, but hold himself safe in his imprisonment.
Oh, sir, when he shall hear of your approach, if that young Arthur be not gone already, even at that news he dies. And then the hearts of all his people shall revolt from him, and kiss the lips of unacquainted change, and pick strong matter of revolt, and wrath out of the bloody fingers ends of John. Methinks I see this hurly all on foot, and oh, what better matter breeds for you than I have rammed. The bastard Falconridge is now in England, ransacking the church, offending charity. If but a dozen French were there in arms, they would be as a call to train 10,000 English to their side, or as a little snow tumbled about, anon becomes a mountain. Oh, noble dolphin, go with me to the king. 'Tis wonderful. What may be wrought out of their discontent, now that their souls are topful of offense, for England go. I will wet on the king.
Strong reasons make strange actions. Let us go. If you say aye, the king will not say no.
Excellent. And that is the end of part 1. So good job, guys. Yay! Great stuff. And thank you for our to our audience. We will be back here with part 2 next week. And yeah, the second part of King John. So thank you very much, and thanks to everybody. Have a good night, and stay safe. We'll see you very soon.
Night.
Bye.
Night, guys. Night.
Night.